So it's that time of the year, well, halfway really means June, but since we're probably only going out once in June, because we've got like my cousin's wedding and like all sorts of busy functions, and so that we'll be doing most of that, but it's halfway review because we've done amazingly so far, just from beginning of January, which only feels like a few days ago, pretty much, and then we've got May now, and then we've got Bridlington, hopefully that holiday next week, but that will be in the second review, the end of year review, but this is going through the year, and we'll just recap on what we saw, and just enjoy all the moments, just be grateful for all the outings that we did. It was amazing. So right back to January, whoa, we're in Brandon Marsh, and literally, we're starting on the first day of the year. So it had good bird hide facilities. I remember I was quite surprised. It didn't look so good when you looked over from Google Maps, but yeah, they're pretty good. Yes, I remember when I met this very tame robin. Yeah, lots of lapwing. There was, like, when I went in March, there was hardly any lapwing. There was only 2. There was more oyster catcher there than lapwing, but lapwing, even though they're just simple common old birds, I love lapwing. I remember there were like loads of them, and the common gulls as well. Just went on for ages and ages. Also my cold is going away, so I'm really happy about that. Yeah, they just kept going. Like more hen, yes, I remember that. And there was a lot of shoveler on that day as well. A good day for shoveler. And chaffinch, yeah, this is actually my first camera footage of a chaffinch. Yeah, so, my first actually view of a reed bunting. I always remember that. Good photo of a great spotted woodpecker, thank you, Isha. I don't mind if I do say that myself. Blue tit, yeah, I had to crop that. I just had to crop that and add a bit more light. I do edit my photos, very tame mute, so I'm just posing for the camera. It just knows me. And our first yellow leg gull. So that was all in all a great trip, Brandon Marsh. And we're moving on to Cossington Meadows and our couple of weekends ahead. Remember our amazing view of a pintail. There wasn't too much apart from that today, but you know what? That totally makes up for. Well, we've seen all sorts of wildfowl there. We saw the gardening in April as well. So Cossington Meadows is like, yeah, it's amazing reserve. Yeah, this pintail, I think there were 2 males rather than a male and a female, so it's even better, isn't it? Well, I mean, yeah, but it's cute how they do the bobs. They just did one. And opposed to nowadays in Cossington Meadows, we didn't get any lapwing. It was just all in January and February when we went, but there were no lapwing in our other visits. Ibrook Reservoir, this was quite a good first impression with redshank. Yeah, it's definitely a good first impression, yeah. Yeah. Redshank. I love redshank. It's actually my first camera fit. Well, I did get another one on my old camera, but the SD card actually broke because it dropped off the top of my cabinet. But that's not the whole reason we got this new camera. That was just meant to be. Lapwing. I remember our Dunlin. I remember the Dunlin so well. It was so cute, and I mean they were reported there were apparently 33 Dunlin on the day before we went, so it's very likely that there will be Dunlin there, and we did see that. So I'm going to leave you with the Dunlin, and I'll see you at Attenborough in February. Sorry if I sound like an absolute snot bag, but this is Attenborough in our first week of February. Egyptian goose, I remember, I actually thought it was a partridge at first, but I was like meters, hundreds of meters away, so I was at nearly full zoom. Cormorant on a rock with a very blue water. I think that's the wind that made the water blue, because that was quite windy day, I remember. Great tit. I love great tits, and mix of tits, so you got great tit, blue tit. I think I saw a long-tailed tit there, but then no, they're just too fast. RSPB Titchell Marsh, now we're getting into it, yeah, we're getting into it. Here's the fen hide, and the view from the fen hide, no bitterns, no nothing. Just like, there's nothing from that hide, but the island hide did show some avocets, and also some snipe. And I said before, oh, the last time we saw snipe was in January. No, I actually looked at this video and I realised, no, we saw them in February at Welney as well. So that's great. Shoveler, actually no, that's Moorhead. Avocet, I think there's a dead thing, don't know, a dead bird there. But like, there's loads of avocet that day. I just remembered that, and it's like, I never had another day with that many avocets. So very good hide facilities here again. It's a salt marsh perinder, that one, and we've got grey plover. Yay! And this is on the tidal pool, I believe. Godwit's oyster catcher. The beach only showed an oyster catcher that day. It's a bit rainy though. And our first Brent geese. Wow, that was a pretty good trip. Munjack, yeah, that was a female actually, because it didn't have the spike. What they called that? I've forgotten the word. That's a red-legged partridge. Anyway, Welney Wetland Centre. I've actually forgotten the word. Oh dear. First visit. I just remember this. Hooper swans, and I haven't seen them since. Or haven't. No, I haven't seen them since. But they were meant to be Buick swans because they were recorded on that day, but no one had seen them in the hide that I was in. And there's good bird hiding facilities, but the swan feed, I've got to say, was probably my favourite part. Like, look at that, the crush of pochard, the crush of mallard. It's a collective noun for them. Look at their fiery red eyes. All the water, I just like keep thinking about it. We've got to go, well, another day, we've got to go back now. Lots of lapwing that day. And then this was by far the best day of the holiday. All those golden plover. It's like they came from nowhere. Like, did they just come like suddenly while I was at Welney, and then they just... But they're so cute and everything, but I want to see them in summer plumage as well. They look quite interesting like that, but nevertheless they're very cute. Got curlew. I love curlew. They're very, very long bills. And a little Sanderling over there. To see it. Oh, it's so cute. There's a couple of Sanderling there with some oyster catchers. Well, not at the back actually. Turnstone, literally everywhere you can imagine. There's the knot. Sanderling's just behind. There's like so many birds there. But the golden plover, you can't ignore that. They're just... I will always remember that moment. Golden plover, the lapwing, and they all took to the sky soon after. It was amazing. I really need a pack of tissues by me. And this is a spotted redshank, which is even better. Like, I was told that it was there. I only saw redshank with islands. It was on the salt marsh because it was apparently in the fresh marsh at the beginning. But there wasn't even a single redshank there. Goldfinches as well on the feeders. The feeders weren't as busy as I thought they were. There's no brambling, siskin or anything. But we can check on the next day, the Thursday, and see what's about. We've got a bit of chaffinch, love chaffinch. And I said there wouldn't be any brambling, but there we go. See, it was good. And then the big beach. It was too windy that day. The wind, I planted my tripod in like the sand, and it was just blow it away. It's like, so Hamilton Peninsula. Oh yeah, we got some turnstone, I remember that. That was great to see some turnstone there, because it was reported on that day and the day before, because I looked at the LRS in our Hamilton Hall room, and it just said that they were there. So we went down to the Hamilton Peninsula to have a little look. And there they were. Beautiful little birds, mixing with the widgeon. Because when we first looked at that, because this is on the way back, there was nothing there, like literally nothing, just the widgeon. No turnstone, but it's great to see some turnstones turning some stones over, hence their name. That's what they do. And I know a lot of birds are accurately named. I don't know where mallard came from, but I can Google that after, and I'll probably tell you in a minute. These are some widgeon and a pied wagtail, but I did search up mallard, and it's called that because of the drake. And it said something to do with masculinity, and that means to do with the male, so that's apparently why it's called that. Obviously that's probably like hundreds of billions of years ago. No, it's only about maybe 1,000 years ago, but it's quite a long time ago. Anyway, we've got Rutland Water, the Eggleton Reserve. Always a good day. I remember we saw my first mew there. Good view of grey white egret. I don't think I put my green sandpiper in there, but it was a green sandpiper. But we did see some little grebes. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, little grebes. I've seen little grebes every visit to Eggleton, apart from May and December. So that's only 2 visits. And Mew Hide, I got a good bird hide facilities, like the field fair hide where I saw the green sandpiper from. It was just a great day. It's just the heron statue, the curlew from the snipe hide over the wet meadows, and we saw one from the harrier hide and the mallard hide. So yeah, all in all, it was a good trip. Lapwing, Smew, that was just class. And then we saw the missel thrush at the end. No, sorry, a song thrush. There was a missel thrush earlier in the day though. That was a song thrush. And we're going to be moving on now. Eggleton, that trip, February was just an amazing month, but I think it's time to get into a bit of spring. Brandon Marsh, here we go. Good views of Jay. Remember that? We just put some seed on the stump, and then literally 10 minutes later, Jay came. We saw some siskin as well. I'll never forget that siskin. That's just legendary. That was pretty amazing. I just thought they were blue tits, to be honest. And then my dad said, "Are you sure?" He just checked carefully, looked up, just gave my dad a big hug after. It's like, thank you so much, because I haven't seen a siskin since. But then again, they're most common in winter. And Brandon Marsh, when we went in early March, that's still kind of like winter for birds. Ibert Reservoir, now this is getting into sort of a more spring, where we saw the yellowhammer. Remember that? That was pretty epic. A good views of Shelduck on that day as well. And a buzzard. That was pretty much, we didn't see too much that day. But Cossington Meadows later on, that was definitely worth it. No gargany though, but we saw the oyster catcher. And we tried out a new lake. We looked at the new lake, so that was interesting. We saw like black-headed gulls on the new lake. And then we saw the little egrets, and that made me so happy. I got some good photos as well, if I may say so myself. That was a good day. No gargany though, but oh well. We saw a greenfinch. I love greenfinches anyway, but we also saw a chiff-chaff. Moving on, we're now in April, so it is definitely spring. This is Switherland Reservoir, and we've got a grey wagtail. This is from the dam. We just drive straight up to the dam because that's where we see all the good birds. Like we've seen grey wagtails, yellow wagtails, pied wagtails, all sorts of geese, duck. I think we've seen scorp there before as well, a long time ago. I'm not too sure. I think we have. Yeah, we have seen scorp there before. Like this is a grey wagtail and a pied wagtail. Have a bit more white on its head. It's not a white wagtail, but all pied wagtails are different. And this is Sevenoaks now. Quite a spectacular trip, and this is in Kent. Yeah, my grandma took me here, and then literally I thought this was like a wagtail. Like, oh, is it another grey wagtail? No, it's a little ringed plover, and it's like crazy. But then again, it kind of is expected. It's because I have a book called Wildlife Walks by the Wildlife Trust, and it said little ringed plover, lapwing. And this book never lies to see little ringed plover and lapwing and robins. But it didn't say that, but you can see robins everywhere. And it also had a pretty decent heronry as well. Sevenoaks was a pretty decent trip actually. Really enjoyed it. And then this is the River Darren in Ainsford. And this is a starling from my grandma's feeder. She gets like loads of starlings. I mean, I get starlings, but they don't go to my feeders. Here's my first view of a kingfisher. Didn't stay for long enough. Did see it a couple of times. I recorded that in slow-mo, so just you can see it. We've also got a grey wagtail perch on the roof, and nice view of this mini waterfall. Now this is where we're talking. Yeah, got some meadows back at it. Oh yeah, got some peacock butterflies over here. Great to see them. Got a great white egret. This is my best visit to Gothington Meadows. You can't say anything more. And then just throw in some gargany. There we go. That's it. That's what I've been waiting for. Finally, this is definitely my best visit. Gad will get in the way of gargany, and it's just like amazing. The gargany, and then the mute swan on this nest, which is now, because I was talking, it's the 28th of May today, it's Saturday, and I'm talking from now, the mute swan chicks have actually moved. This is a rebunting. They've actually moved into the turnpool, like into the main lake. Now they've abandoned the nest, which is showing a bit of more responsibility now. This is Linden, where we saw our first osprey, and that was pretty amazing moment for me. Finally, get to see an osprey. Finally, can just tick it off the list. It's so satisfying when you can tick like birds like you wanted to see like forever off the list. I believe this is a small tortoise shell butterfly. Good hive facilities. This one's on 2 levels, and a bit more hirundines action. This is a swallow. The feeders were pretty active as well. All sorts of birds on there. We got linnet as well. That was my first view of linnet, so really pleased about that. Wandlet Meadows was my first visit, but it was such a good visit. This is a plover hide at Watermead Park Reach Bed Nature Reserve. Lapwing and sun littering plover. Yeah, it really just like, I just keep thinking about this year. It's been so good. Like, we've seen at least 50 new species in this whole thing. You can count them up for me if you want, if you're watching this video. But this littering plover, this isn't a new bird because we saw it at Seven Oaks, but like it's still an interesting bird. Moving on, Eggleton soon after, just 3 days after, Monday, a bank holiday. We got some ringed plover instead of the littering. This is the ringed plover. Bit more interesting. Well, they're both interesting to be honest, but littering plover seem a bit more local to me. Got some bar-tailed godwit as well. Great to see bar-tailed godwit at Eggleton. I'm really happy about that. It was on the sightings. Nice, the common tern. Further on that script was the Arctic tern. Shoveler hide. That was arguably one of the best hides. But we didn't see too much from there. But it was like best hide sometimes when we went, because that's where I first saw my snipe. So we've got some common tern, because they got the black tips. And you can really see the difference between the black-headed gull and the Mediterranean gull. I'll let you figure out which one's which. Pintail hide, remember that didn't deliver us much, but that was our second visit to that hide. So it's Hicks Lodge for a bit of bird watching and cycling. This is quite recent actually, this is only about 10 days ago. No, it's literally only 8 days ago. Just over a week. And we've got lots of black-headed gulls at chicks as well. Coot. This is quite a fancy bird. You can see our bikes there. Bird watching hide. And a good view of a chiffchaff. And finally, for the end of this year, was Beacon Hill Country Park on Tuesday. It was a school trip. Me and one of my friends from my school, who were both into photography, had a little go on our cameras. And we sent each other the files. This is a ladybird. It's mainly a photography trip. I'm not putting it on YouTube because I just don't think it should be there. But I'm just going to keep it on this. But we did get lots of interesting photos of all sorts of things. And that's the end of this video, and I will certainly see you at Bridlington, I hope, if my illness gets better.